Hi, this is Eliza. Welcome to the Clique Kits Click Into Summer workshop. I've titled this video and my project, It's What I Do, and I'll be talking all about writing and scrapbooking about your work, about your job. I wanted to take a moment to talk about the products that are in the kit. There's a ton of them, especially from the Simple Stories I Am collection and the stamps from Altenew. And I wanted to mention them, because they're awesome, but also because I found them really beautifully and thoughtfully designed to help you scrap about yourself, which is something that can be a challenge. I know it is for me sometimes. And there's such a strong focus on words, and those words really were helpful sparks, jumping points for stories that can be told. So, let's get into it. It's what I do. As soon as I knew I'd be receiving this I Am Gold kit, I knew that I wanted to talk about my work. Family and home are my priorities in life, but the single most thing that I do outside of those things is go to work. And I've been a grown-up for close to 2 decades, so how can I not have a lot of stories and a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings about this? So I chose to create a mini album using a 6x8 snap album with pocket pages. And mini albums and pocket pages are not a strength of mine. I am a 12x12 scrapper about 99% of the time, but I chose to use it here because I wanted to create a cohesive project that allowed me to tell my story over several pages, and the smaller size was really conducive to that. And the pockets created really nice little blocks for my journaling. And then because the whole kit really is drawn from this one collection that is designed to coordinate together and to go into pocket pages, I was then able to slip little elements into the remaining pockets to pull the pages together. And I think there's a really great lesson here that anytime in scrapbooking that you want to try something new, something outside of your comfort zone, a good strategy is to think about the different elements of scrapbooking. There's design and journaling, technique and format and size, and choose what you want to focus on that might be challenging, and then make the other elements really simple so you could focus your time and energy and brain power to the parts that might be a little bit harder, or even just the parts that you want to focus on. So I know I've already shared the beginnings of this album, but I'm actually going to move away from it just for a little bit. We'll come back to it and we'll tie it all together in the end. But I wanted to share this little notebook way before I had picked up scissors or I was even sure that I was going to make a mini album. I just used a couple of stickers to decorate the notebook just to make it more fun. But again, because I knew I really wanted the journaling to be a big part of this project, I knew that I would need to spend time on the writing. And for me, the easiest way for me to compose my thoughts is by physically putting pen to paper. Sometimes it's the only way I can get started on writing, but also what I like about it is that if I'm writing a sentence and I don't like the way that it's going, I can't delete it. I could cross it out, but it's still there and I can still see it, and I can try rewriting the sentence right on the next line. And then they're both there and I can see them both and draw from both of them and decide what I like and decide what I don't like. Sometimes what I end up typing up is exactly what I wrote on the page, and sometimes it's significantly different. It doesn't really matter. The important thing is really just to think about what writing process works best for you, and then just letting it happen and really letting it take its time. So for my next detour, I wanted to share some older pages that I've made over the years that are about my work. I noticed that they all start with I statements or I am statements, which is fitting for this kit. And these are parts of my job, things that I do that I am proud of, that I think I do well, and that just give me an overall sense of satisfaction. So think about it for yourself. What are you proud of? What do you find fulfilling? Is it being creative, the chance to talk to people? Is it the intellectual challenge or working with your hands? Whatever that thing is, capture it, write it down. You could write a few paragraphs, or you can capture it all in one sentence, as in this layout. For a story to be a good story and a meaningful story, it doesn't have to have a lot of words. So now we're finally going to go back into the album, and we're going to stay here till the end. These are the introductory pages that I've already shared, and on this one I really just lay out my intentions for all the different things that I would like to cover in the album. And I'll just read it, the last paragraph for you. It says, so here I get to lay it all out. What I do, what I love about what I do, how I got here, how I made my choices, what I chose to focus on, and what I left behind. And there may be some fantasizing about what I would do if I never had to worry about money. So this is a page that came from the products themselves. I saw this 4x6 card that says, I am the author of my own story, and I just loved the phrase so much that it inspired me to add this very small caveat that while this album is all about some of the choices that I've made and some of the things that I chose not to do, that I live or strive to live without any regrets, and I really try to own those decisions. So take a look through all the products and all the stickers and all the words that are in there and see what stories might emerge from them. This page is a running record of the places that I've worked and different jobs that I've had. There were parts that were a bit tedious to write, but I did want to record it all a little bit just for the sake of posterity, but also it was in those job changes and even a career change in there, the times of transition that I learned things about myself, growth happened, and when choices were made. So look back on your own career. When and why did you make changes? What did you learn from them? You can include it all on one page, or each job could get a separate layout if you choose. And then here on the left side of the page, I just give a little summary of where I am right now. And I thought about including a little bit more about the place where I work. I thought that by itself could be a few pages. The space, the building, the people that I work with. I chose not to focus on that right now, but that certainly is something that I might decide to include in the future and could be something that speaks to you more. And then that long text over on the right, that was not tedious at all. That was really a pleasure to write because I just let out all my warm, fuzzy feelings, everything that I love about what I do. So it's fun to include a page about that, even if not every day is like that. And then I just followed through with that on the following page, just with pictures and a few word stickers. No more text necessary, just to capture the fun parts of work. And then to balance out the warm, fuzzy feelings, I included here a little bit about the days when I'm not really having a good time there. Not to be negative, but just to be real, to be authentic. And sometimes I think about, thinking about my children reading this in the future, or future grandchildren reading this. They're going to go to work probably, and they're not going to have fun every day. And there's something I think about reading about it, to know that everybody goes through that sometimes. I think it's a good life lesson that I kind of want out there. And then included next to that, I also just felt the need to include that as much as I love my job, I really do, it is a challenge. I would love to be home in my house. I could keep myself busy here all day, just puttering about, cleaning and cooking and scrapbooking. And wouldn't it be great to never have to worry about money? What would you do? What would your dream job be? I'm now going to focus on the right-hand side of the page. It's two pages that go together. One is just a little 2-inch sliver cut from one of the page protectors, and this little page is connected to the 6x8 page that you can see behind it. It's recording the fact that I don't have my master's degree. It's a choice that I've made that increases my quality of life in a lot of ways, but does sometimes make me doubt myself. I use my own words in the journaling, but then on that small page, use the stickers to support that story. I switched around the I am to make it, am I successful, brave, strong, am I enough? But then turning that page over, ending with I am statements again. Yes, I am enjoying every day, being me, connected, grounded. So that's my story about my education. Our education is very often tied with our work life. So that is a great jumpstart for some stories or layouts that you could record. And then the other element of these pages are the doubts that we have about ourselves. I presume I'm not the only one. And I have found that in working with this kit, it's been really powerful to make I am statements about myself, but it's also kind of powerful to say all the things that we are not, because we can't really be everything all the time. This next series of pages tells a story of a little hiatus that I took from teaching where I worked in construction. So I just tell a little bit of that story on one page. On the little insert half page there, again, I cut up some page protectors. I go to town and show off some before and after pictures when I got to put my construction skills to use. And then the final page of that spread is another one of those pages where as soon as I saw the Altenew stamp that said, believe in the good of everything, I knew that I was going to use that to tell the story about that whole journey from teaching to construction to back to teaching. Has kind of made me who I am today. And even though I'm right back where I started, I'm in a better place because of that journey. So again, you can use some pages to talk about different careers or different jobs that you've had, or you can look at the big picture and say, how has that journey from one job to the other made you who you are today? And I mentioned this in the very beginning that I wanted to be able to tell parts of my story over several pages, and that's why I chose this smaller album. And I think this page and the page that comes before it are good examples of that. So I just wanted to point that out to you. And now, last but not least, this page is a little bit different from all the others. The others mostly record, again, things that I've actually done. And this page goes even a little further back than that sometimes I even forget this part of my life. But before I became a teacher and construction worker and teacher again, I've also always had a fascination with science and the natural world. And I did even look into pursuing that in college and on to grad school, and that is clearly a path that I did not take, but is still a part of me in some way, and I just reflect upon that a little bit. So that's it. Those are all my pages. I even have ideas for more, so luckily this album isn't going anywhere and I could add to it at any time. Thank you so much for listening to me essentially talk about myself for 15 plus minutes. I hope that in sharing my story I have given you some ideas and techniques and strategies for telling your own. And if you do, I'd love to see it. So please share it up. So thank you so much. Bye.